Hello, and today we've got a push workout and we're just going to get straight into it. Little talk, more action, and let's go into it. So when it comes to push workouts, I feel as though I need to warm up my shoulders more than anything else. And that's with any upper body workout, to be honest. And then when it comes to chest, I normally just do a couple of warm-up sets, but I actually specifically target the shoulders before going into it because I just feel as though there's a lot of room for injury and it's not something I fancy doing. So what I'm going to do now today is I'm going to start off with some incline cable chest press, which is a bit different, allows me to have a bit more tension, and I'll just do a couple of warm-up sets now before going into the heavy working sets. So now I've done the warm-up sets, I'm going to go into 3 working sets. Now, years ago, I would focus on doing 4 to 5 working sets, when in reality, if you do the 3 working sets with enough intensity, there's no point in going past that because you're just putting yourself at more risk of injury. So, and in my opinion, I think it makes you take your foot off the gas when you should really be putting it on for the 3 sets. I mean, 7 if you count the last one. I'm absolutely knackered today. It's Saturday, I think it's 9 o'clock at night. For some reason I've been doing some random stuff today, fitting windows with my dad. But yeah, I think I'm going to drop this. The next one down's 23, but that was a lot harder than what I thought. But like I said, I only need to do another 2 sets when I'm working that hard, otherwise it's just unnecessary volume. Wow, this is feeling so much harder. And today I don't have my videographer with me, so you are going around on a step ladder wherever I can potentially fit you within this gym. Going back to that weight, a lot of people on the last rep, if they've struggled, they always tend to drop it really quick when, if you're looking for muscle growth, that's probably the most effective part of the whole exercise and the whole rep is that last 1 to 2 where you're close to failure. So that's 3 working sets of chest press, 7 reps, then I dropped the weight, so there was then 2 sets of 8. But the difference about this workout is I've not been able to put any music on. And when you're training without any music on, it is absolutely, I don't know, barbaric really. Not that I listen to anything radical, it can be something like country music, dance, can be anything. I tend to go for higher reps when it comes to chest flies, so I'll probably aim for 10, 12, see where I get to. But the only thing is, these cables jump up quite dramatically, so you've got 9, 14, 18, and the difference between them is ridiculous. They're not like the techno gym ones where you can go up in little segments. good at. 10 reps, aim for another 2 sets of 10. Now, one thing that I didn't do for a while is when I do chest flies, is when you come together, I was so used to locking my elbow so that I wasn't bending the arm at any point. But when you come close to it, ideally, you should squeeze, try and straighten out your arms so that you get the extra press, because you can just put more tension on it. And obviously, you can cross over, try and go beyond that range of motion that a lot of people go to. But also, I used to go really far back, and it's trying to have that balance now that it doesn't put too much stress on my shoulders. And also, if you're thinking, I don't own an iron, I do. I just come back, like I said, come back from helping my dad, threw on whatever was in the wardrobe to go and do this video. So I do normally do so, but again, no one's gonna watch me in this gym, so that's the beauty of it. I'm setting up for an overhead press, kneeling, and I do it with the Smith machine, and if I'm being honest, I prefer it when it goes behind my neck, and a lot of people don't like it because it puts a lot of stress on the shoulder joint, but I just feel a better connection. Touch wood, there's none in here. I haven't been injured in that way. I've said it now, I'll probably be out for weeks, but I just feel a better connection, and sometimes you just got to go with what feels best for you. And when it gets quite late on within the workout, so now I've done chest press, I've done some cable flies, I've done a warm-up at the very beginning. When it comes to doing other exercises like big compound movements, I don't feel the need to warm up the same intensity that you would do at the very beginning. So I just go on, do a couple of 1 or 2 sets just to get the movement used to the whole weight, and then I just go straight into it. Now the best thing with doing behind the neck is that if all else fails, you can just drop it onto the back of your neck on your traps, and then normally you can re-rack it. So if you're standing up, you drop it down to the back of your neck, it's in the squat position. So I think it's a lot safer than going on the front, because it just falls forward and you haven't got much to do, and it puts a lot of stress within your front shoulder joint. But that's my preference, and if the other ways work for you, by all means carry on doing it. So I'm just going to try this. This is 50 kilos. Bear in mind, I'm quite warm, and I've obviously got a bit of fatigue after doing the other stuff, so I'll get my excuses in first. That was 6, just feeling it out. I reckon I can do 60 at this point, which is not too bad, considering, like I said, I've done chest press. Now, if I'm being honest, training-wise this week hasn't been the best for me. But yeah, focus on your exercise and everything else seems to follow. Even if you feel as though there's not enough time in the day, there's always time for you to sit down and go through your phone, do whatever it is, but just focus that time on exercise, in my opinion, even if it's 20, 30 minutes, because you get a lot more done after it and you feel 10 times better. But I'll go into this workout set now and see how it feels. I have to drop the weight, even if it's, I don't know, by 2.5 a side. And with shoulder press, it's one of the exercises where I really control the negative to the point where it's painful. So then, whether it come across on camera, I don't know. But I try and control it for as long as I possibly can, which is good from a muscle building perspective. Six again. Right, dropping it one more time. Hopefully get 8 for a change on 50 kilos. Not my strongest day, but nevertheless, it gets done. Another 6 to complete the set, the devil's number. Anyway, move on to shoulder raises. Next up, I've got dumbbell lateral raises. Now, I'm going to pick 10 kilos aside and I'm going to do something a bit different where I'll control it obviously on the negative, but when I'm at the top, I'm going to pause here for maybe a second or so and just see how that feels. I'm going to slightly tilt forward and hopefully control it to the best that I can. I didn't rest long enough. I got 10, but I'd say some of them reps are questionable. I also just noticed some of these shorts, when they're so big, they actually make you look as though you don't actually train your legs. Not that they're anything special, but they're not as chicken-like as they come across probably on the camera. When it comes to rear delts, I used to do it all in one. So I used to do front raises, lateral raises, rear delt raises on the push day. But now, if I am going to do them, I normally do it with my pull day because they're in the same axis of when you're doing any rows, pull-ups. So if I was to do them today, I'd probably be fatigued when it comes to doing any rowing movements later on in the week. So that's what I do now. In terms of shrugs, used to be my favourite exercise. It was the one muscle group I always wanted massive traps. And then ironically now, I don't do them. Again, probably count on one hand how many times I've done them this year. I don't do them in here because 15 kilo dumbbells. And then with the Smith machine, so for example, this is how a lot of people shrug, is they go straight up and down, when in reality your trap goes up and pulls back. So I used to get dumbbells, decent heavy ones, go back on a diagonal, go down. But seeing as though I can't do it and the barbell restricts that movement, it's something I've not done for a while, so hopefully I can get a few extra pennies together and get some more dumbbells. But when you're doing lateral raises, the idea is to try and keep your traps and everything relaxed, keep them down, otherwise you will end up shifting a lot of tension towards it. last rep was a bit of a cheated rep, to be honest. Went down too quick. So I've got one more set of this, and then I did plan on doing 2 tricep exercises, but in reality, one more set of these and then do some dips and call it a night. Don't overcomplicate things. Chest, you need 1 press. I do incline because it was more aesthetically driven. Looks better if you have an upper chest. Some form of chest fly. Shoulders, do 1 press and then focus on your lateral raises in whatever capacity you want. And then you can do your triceps at the end. Bear in mind, if you do them at the end of a push workout, same with biceps at the end of a pull, they're going to be more fatigued or pre-fatigued anyway, so you're not going to get the full muscle growth that you would if you did allocate 1 single day towards them. So if you want to grow your arms, do that. If you want to grow other muscle groups and still grow them at the same time, but not at the same rate, then by all means add it to the end. Just body weight, no weighted dips to finish. But I went to a gym actually in Bali. It was called Nirvana Life, and if you ever want to be humbled to the greatest extent, then go to that gym where I felt the unfittest, I looked the worst, and it was just full of these people who were experts in calisthenics and doing all these crazy exercises, and they were just incredible to watch. And there was this lad doing the dips, but when he'd do them, he took himself like this and go right down. And ever since, you just have a greater connection with your triceps and chest that I've just focused on it that way. So if it works for you, by all means do it. Oh, 12's not bad. That's 3 sets of dips done. I've done 12, and then I finished on I think 9 or 10. That's it for this workout. Hopefully the next one I'll have an iron shirt, and I've actually got my videographer behind the camera now, who we had a busy day, didn't we? So the step ladder is no longer needed for the rest of the video. Now going forward, hopefully my blood results are back from, like I said, the new company we've launched, so I can go through them next week. But again, if you've got this far, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.